I really want to give musically. That's where my goal is. It's just the experience that I'm giving, the experience that I'm sharing with the world. I have a certain vision for it, which is hard to describe in words. But it's just that vision that has been on my mind in terms of where I want to get to.
Excited to be here with you.
Me too.
I mean, this is the fourth time we've chatted, but much bigger occasion. Super happy in person in London, where you live.
In London, yeah.
So, how long have you lived in London for?
I've lived in London for about 3 years now.
And your family moved here when you were a baby, correct?
Yes. My dad still lives here, actually. I was raised in Lagos still.
Okay.
I didn't stay here too long when I was a baby.
So obviously Lagos is still considered home.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I remember, I think I was watching your Vogue France video when you were getting ready for the Jacques Mousse show.
Yeah.
And you were talking about like your Pilates class and how like you have to keep changing them because people are recognizing you and you're like not even booking under your real name. How do you, maintain a sort of normal-ish routine?
The way I am naturally is, I wouldn't say it's routine-based, but I find joy in quiet and having my own time, and I just keep my life private, like my private life private and my public life public.
How's your relationship with your fame evolved over the years and making sure you're still maintaining that peace?
At least when I first started, there's a lot of things I wasn't comfortable with. I'm hypersensitive to a lot of things, so everything was uncomfortable. I just love music, I was always focused on my art and just putting out music. I wasn't thinking about how I looked. I wasn't thinking too much about anything really, just music. Music was my life. It's still my life, but now I feel like I've learned so much about not just myself, but people. I feel like I'm able to relate with people a bit more now than ever before. And that keeps my humanity. I reserve my right to be human, so I treat myself like a human being. I don't think too much about whether I'm famous or I'm not famous.
What does your day-to-day look like these days?
A lot of traveling, a lot of road trips, a lot of flights. I wake up and there's always something that's happening in the day. I cherish days where I just get to chill at home and do absolutely nothing. Every day is something different, which is actually very exciting for me.
What is your favorite thing to do during your free time?
Make music. Also, I like painting. If I'm in my house, I just sit down and watch anime, documentaries, crime documentaries. Yeah, I love anime.
Wow, I never knew that about you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you don't know about me.
I remember in February, just when I was watching you on social media, I was seeing so many things happening in your world. Obviously, you are part of the ownership group for San Diego FC. So you had the celebration dinner and then the game. Then you're in LA for the Oscars and the after parties. And then the next time I see you, it's Paris Fashion Week. And you said a lot of the times you're on a plane, you're doing road trips. How have you adjusted to that and maintained that kind of schedule, just from the travel itself to the actual events that you're attending?
I take it step by step. I make sure I'm prepared and nothing takes me by surprise. I always know what's happening beforehand, so mentally I'm always prepared. Honestly, I try and stay silent as much as possible. I have an energy saving mode, on your phone, where you put on energy saving. That's me. I'm always saving my energy for when I really need to come out. I'm definitely an introvert. I try to act like I'm out there, but I think people know that I'm.
And what inspired you to get into music, and what did you fall in love with first? Singing, songwriting, or performing?
I don't think I performed until I was at least a year or so into being an artist. But I've been creating music, writing music since I was almost a teenager. I love when I create music and I'm the only one that's heard it, because it's still mine. I create music just so that I can have a little more time with it to myself before I share with the world.
I mean, given the fact that you've been doing this since you were a teenager, when it was time to go to school, like how did you get to studying economics when you were in college?
I didn't have a choice, girl. My mom basically like enrolled me last minute. You know, I tried to like miss all the deadlines. And she enrolled me into a school in South Africa last minute, and she was like, we're going together and you're going to school, and that's it.
I feel like the one thing an African parent loves the most is a college education.
Oh, yeah, I mean, music, you want to do what?
Yeah.
You want to sing.
When you were studying, what were your post-grad goals at the time? Were you still like, I want to dive into music, or were you thinking like, oh, I mean, I have this economics degree, that I could do something with it?
I think I just wanted to make everybody happy. I was still like people pleasing. I was just like, someone is paying my school fees, I have to make them proud. I'm very sensitive to people's feelings and wanting to do right by people. So back then I was just like, well, I'm just gonna do my best and do music after school. And when I have this degree, I'll just hand them, look, I did the school, leave me alone now. Everybody should just leave me to be and let me do my music. And that's what happened.
I mean, somewhere in between, you got a digital marketing job.
Yes.
But then you said, you know, we can't have none of that.
It just got to a point where I couldn't take any more. And it was really dawning on me like, it's now or never. I was just putting it off until it was just about like having faith that God will see me through wherever I go.
How long after you quit your job did you release Mr. Rebel?
I quit my job January 2018. I released Mr. Rebel 2018.
Okay.
Same year, in 6 months, 7 months after I quit my job.
It's a good way to start the new year. It's like you're fully diving into what you have always wanted to do for yourself.
Yeah, I think that's why spiritually I was just like aware, like this is not my path. I need to leave this place right now. Like it felt really like life or death. Like this can make or break your destiny and you need to make a decision right now. And I chose to take that leap.
And it was obviously worth it.
Yes. I think about it a lot. Like, wow, imagine if I didn't believe.
You obviously had such like an incredible career trajectory. I feel like as an African woman, we don't always get to see that for ourselves. Like we don't get to see someone who looks like us actually reach that level that we would love to get to. Who did you look up to, you know, whether they were African or not, in terms of like a model of success or like a career who you like, oh wow, I really love this arc and would love to do that for myself?
Career-wise, Rihanna, I think she's like one of the youngest business women that any woman should look up to. In terms of like not just music, but business, fashion, I think she's definitely one of the people that a lot of women and girls do look up to.
What's been the most rewarding part of your journey so far, and what's been the most challenging part?
I think the most rewarding part of my journey is my mom. My mom is like my angel. She means a lot to me because we went through it. I was taking care of her. She had broken her leg. And I asked her before I quit my job, and I told her, Mom, I've been really thinking about quitting my job, you know, because we were going through a lot at the time and we needed that job. And she was like, yes, I think you should, and I think you should go and chase your dreams and try this music thing. You can do it, you know, and I believe in you. Just do whatever you need to do. Don't worry about me. I'm here for you. And just seeing her over the years do everything she can for me, and now seeing her happy every day, that's the most fulfilling part of my life. Just being able to make her smile. And the most challenging thing I think I've faced so far is being perceived or paid attention to. I think I was able to be so free as a child because nobody cared about me. Nobody cared what I was doing. I could disappear for a long time. You won't see me in days. And I enjoyed it. So I wasn't sad like, oh, nobody cares where I am. I loved being on my own and doing my own thing. So I kind of got too used to that. And now when I started getting attention, it was like a foreign feeling, like why does everybody care about what I do, you know? I realized it's not something to be afraid of. It's not something that is threatening my safety. I'm okay, I'm safe, you know, and because I feel safe now, I can give back. I can receive love, give love, and be who I really need to be for whoever needs me.
It's so interesting with like your career and like the music specifically. A lot of the songs you're on or projects you've made get so much critical acclaim and like chart success like years after their release. You know, like with Essence.
I feel it coming. Time is of the essence.
It's on Wiz's album in 2020, but it's like the song of the summer in 2021. Then you have, you know, Free Mind broke the Billboard R&B hip hop airplay record, and you have Higher being sampled on Wait For You, and this is years after For Broken Years. Or are you surprised, like, oh wow, now all of a sudden you guys are paying attention?
It's not something I think about. When I make a song, the moment I share that song, like I was saying, the moment I share any song with anyone, it's not mine anymore. So, you know, I had done Essence. By the time it was popping off, I had already made Me and You, and I already made Crazy Things, and the next EP, I already made all of that. My focus at the time was, oh, these next few songs I'm so excited about. The weekend I shot Essence video is the same weekend I made Me and You. I made Crazy Things. I was like, wow, these songs are so exciting. Whoa, I can't wait. But it's not necessarily like, oh, I wonder what people are gonna think. It's just the excitement of this is music.
Something that I read about, like, you know, your creative process is you freestyle a lot. How is it when you are writing a song for someone else? Like, you know, with Rihanna's Lift Me Up.
Lift me up.
Is it harder to transition, like, okay, now I'm doing this for someone else? Like, are you still freestyling? Is it more like I have to write down everything?
I think maybe Move with the Beyonce song.
Yeah, you gotta move.
That was like the first time I really like was trying to come out of myself and write for someone else. But it's not something I've been successfully able to do, even with Lift Me Up. At the time I wrote it, I wasn't like told I was writing for anyone. It was just the session itself was like a normal session. It wasn't a writing session, it was like a Tems session where we're just like making a song, you know. So that's different because I wasn't trying to channel anybody else. But I'm not really good at that. I think that's one thing I don't know how to do.
I love how you said like you're not successful at it, but then the two songs you named are like a Beyonce and a Rihanna
song. That's honestly God. I will give that to God and, you know, everybody that was involved, because I didn't see that coming.
Speaking of freestyling, how many voice memos do you say you have saved on your phone right now?
7,000.
Whoa.
I've saved every voice note I've ever had since 2016.
And those are all like song ideas?
It could be like 10 voice notes is the same song. But they're all song ideas.
Wow. I don't know if I'm more impressed with your creative capacity or like your phone capacity, because I feel like I'm like always deleting apps just to save storage.
iCloud, and every time I buy a new phone, I always get the biggest size.
Yeah, you'd have to. Okay, so when we spoke at the Grammy Museum, when I asked you your favorite songs to perform, you said Turn Me Up, Higher, and Ice-T. Is that the same 3 favorite songs?
Turn Me Up for sure, Me and You. Burning is like one of my favorites.
Burning, burning and burning, burning.
Do you have a favorite song that you've ever made?
I've ever made.
Yeah, okay, favorite songs.
I love all my songs until I like give them away. So my favorite song right now is not released.
I knew it.
But released, probably like Burning Hold On. I have a song called Hold On. I really like that song. You in My Face is actually my favorite song that I've released that I can still listen to and enjoy.
You in my face.
You mentioned that you performed in South Africa,
Yeah.
and I read that you were actually the first artist to perform at their new venue, the Dome.
Oh, right, yeah.
How was that show?
That was crazy. Like, I couldn't hear myself. The screaming was crazy. That's why I love them, because they don't hold back at all. They show you love, and it was like one of the best shows I've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah, like, and it's really just because of the people. Like, they are amazing, amazing people.
Was that your first time performing in South Africa ever?
No, it's
Okay.
my third time actually.
Oh, wow.
But every single time I've gone, it's just getting better and better and better and better. And they always give me the same energy. If I was doing a residency, I'd probably do it in South Africa.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that your only show during the Born in the Wild World Tour that was in Africa?
So far, but we're doing more shows this year.
Ooh. In your opinion, what are the upsides and the downsides to the live music market on the continent?
There's a certain level of production that most people are just used to doing in Africa, and I think it's finding the roots, like finding the venues that like would accommodate the kind of experience you want to give. Anyone can do a live thing, but I feel like as an artist, I really want to give a certain experience that I think has been hard to curate just because of what's available, or you know, the kind of venues, the sound, you know, and just it's really expensive, like doing up these type of things.
But I also think it's great because, like, you know, so many times when, you know, artists back home become so successful, you know, you're taking your music everywhere around the world, but you always have to remember to like take it back home too, and making that effort.
Yeah, like to be honest, Africa has always been on my list for every tour. It's just when we try, we run into obstacles that then prevent us from succeeding in doing like a full-blown show. So I think that's what it is. I did a show in Nigeria, but I want to do more. It's just I want to do it right, you know, and so we just keep trying until we get it right.
Obviously, I feel like the crowd would go crazy when you perform Love Me Jeje.
Because I love and I love and I love and I love you only. Because I need and I need and
And it's incredible that it, you know, won you your second Grammy. You're the second ever winner in the Best African Music Performance category specifically. Tell me about what was going through your head right before your name was called, the moment when you got up stage and accepted it, and then like once you left. How are you feeling?
Well, I think I was just a bit nervous because my mom was there. It was really my mom's day, because even when I was sitting down, I was just thinking about my mom. Like when my mom is around, I'm just thinking about taking care of her and if she's okay. And I was like, wow, haha, how funny would it be? I brought my mom all this way. But, you know, I thought to myself, you know what, like, it's cool, we're here together, my mom's here, everybody's here, this is a beautiful moment, and I'm just, whatever happens, I'm gonna cherish it. I was convincing myself so hard. I was like, yeah, it's probably not me anyway. So like, it might be me, it's probably me, but it's also probably not me at the same time. Like, who even cares? And then they called my name and we sat so far because I was gonna leave. And I was like, let me just sit at the back. If they don't call me, I'll just quickly leave and thank you very much, you know? So I had to run to the stage. I was like, why did you sit so far? But yeah, it was fun. It was a great day.
And to bring your mom up on stage too is incredible.
Oh yeah, that day I just remember my mom being happy. It gave me so much joy. I was like, I want to do this every time. Anything that is going to make my mom smile this way, I'm doing that, you know? That's me.
That was a real prize at the end of the day.
That's my prize. Like people calling her and her feeling like a bride and feeling just like proud, and you know, she saw Will Smith and she was like, Will Smith, wow!
Did he turn around?
No, he was sitting at a table.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, hey, nice to meet you. He was talking to her. She was like, whoa, Will Smith. So just giving her that experience was amazing.
Did they take a photo?
Oh, I wish they did. I don't know why it's always these important moments that your phone dies.
Oh, that's the worst.
Like literally, but no, they didn't. My mom she was too shy to ask. I forgot, to be honest. I wasn't even
Well, she'll always have that memory anyway.
She would always have that memory.
I don't know if you saw this, but there was a video interview that Say Sodimu did in the 2004 Grammys, actually, and he was talking about his original Love Me Jeje and how he tried bringing the song to like different US labels to market it, but like they said he looked American, but he sounded African, so they were all just kind of like blowing him off. When you think about the position that you're in, you know, an African artist signed to US label, what obstacles have you and your team had to tackle? And like, do you feel like what he's saying, like in the trouble that he experienced, is that still happening or have things gotten better?
I mean, Afrobeats has, you know, it's taking off. I think a lot of African artists, a lot of Afrobeat artists and other artists from other countries are taking off. So I think it's cool to sound African now. I think the only thing is there's a perception of Africans that people might have that might lead to certain types of treatment, especially if you look a certain way, not necessarily like black or anything. I mean, your brand, how you present yourself. I think the common misconception business-wise is that Africans don't really know what they're doing, or they're not, you know, business savvy, and they always get surprised when like we kind of come very correct. And this is, to be honest, not just in music, it's in business in general. I think people kind of underestimate your intelligence and try and like swindle you or do certain things.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And like you said, like not just specific to the music industry as well.
Yes, it's a business-wise, and I think how someone really feels about you, it comes out when they give you a contract and what's on the contract. And if someone really respects you, they wouldn't give you a contract that kind of like steals everything you've ever owned, or at least they give you respect that, you know what, this is a business transaction. This is not like a slave deal.
Switching gears, like I mentioned earlier, you're one of the owners of the San Diego FC soccer team. What about buying into a soccer team initially intrigued you? And why specifically San Diego FC?
Football in Africa is like a big thing. I always wondered about women, like just being able to be in the business of it, because it's a man's world, you know? It seems very like male dominated. And I'm just really fortunate that the opportunity to invest in San Diego came my way, and I was like, yes, you know, like this is definitely something that I never thought was possible. You know, especially as a woman, as an African woman, on top of that, to be on this scale, you know, if I have the means, I would definitely want to be involved. And they're so family oriented as well. They don't just take anyone, you know, they have to want to align with your brand. And when I heard everything that they said to me, I just felt like this is where I want to be, you know.
I wrote up another exciting accomplishment that you had recently. You were the first African woman to hit 1 billion Spotify streams with Wait For You,
right,
which is insane.
Okay.
Where were you when you found that out?
I don't know. It's very also possible that I'm just learning of this. I'm very like scatterbrained sometimes, so I'm just, but it feels good to know that, and to, you know, be able to do this on this scale. I think my life is a dream, you know.
I think because I'm so hyper aware of it, because I've done so much reporting just within the last month
Yeah.
of every like first you've broken.
Wow.
From the Spotify record to first, African woman to be a part of MLS ownership, and first Nigerian artist to win 2 Grammys.
Wow.
I feel like obviously these aren't things that you are like striving for, like, oh, I'm trying to hit these specific
yeah.
marks. Does it feel more like, kind of a ripple effect? Like you're just like, okay, that's cool. Like that wasn't always the intention. Like these weren't on the like mood board or the wish list. It was just like, I want to make music, and then these are the results,
Yeah, in a way, I think, yes, I'm more concerned with the creation of the art than the acknowledgement, because that's subjective. But I also feel blessed to be acknowledged, not just for me, but for everybody that has been a part of my journey. I think it means something to them as well, for the people that worked on my album, the people that have been on my team since we started. I think these pivotal moments where we win something big, it reminds us of like, this is another phase we're entering, another season we're entering. I think of that as how I measure our journey, like all the things we've been through together.
Because you are so in love with the creation of the music, have you been creating more music since Born in the Wild, and can we expect to hear it anytime soon? Or are you in the phase of holding it close to the chest first?
Possibly. I mean, yeah, I'm always making music. There are things I've made now that I'm really excited about that sound nothing like the Born in the Wild phase. I'm working on it, It's coming.
Is there like a project that we can expect? Is it like the sophomore album, or is it, EP mixtape? Like,
we have to see where the wind blows.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I can't say.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be good, and it's definitely, I think this year, possibly, maybe.
What other goals do you have for your career moving forward?
I definitely want to diversify and try new ways of applying my music, whether it's in like film, whether it's in other industries. I definitely want to try like seeing how I can contribute in those fields. I really want to give musically. That's where my goal is. It's just the experience that I'm giving, the experience that I'm sharing with the world. I have a certain vision for it, which is hard to describe in words, but it's just that vision that has been on my mind in terms of where I want to get to. I don't think in the same way that a lot of people do. I'm just a very like, where's my heart person, and that's where my heart is.
When you said like, diversifying where you can hear your music, and you mentioned film, have you ever envisioned yourself being in film and like being in front of the camera?
Oh, yes. I really want to do that actually. Yeah, but I actually was talking about like scoring movies.
Ooh.
And being a composer and being a curator of music for films. But I do want to be in the front of the camera. I don't know how that's gonna be, but we'll see.
Well, thank you again, Tems, for everything.
Thank you
I
for
love
having me.
every time that we get to chat. So, 4th interview, maybe so many more interviews to come. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Of course.